All right, everyone. Today we're going to try to make a build order in an hour and then play it against a Zerg. It's going to be a PvZ build order. First, we kind of got to think of the setup, and I think I have something that I might actually work. So the initial idea that we want to be working on is we send our first worker straight away across the map. And we can do this on 2 maps. We can play this build on Berlingrad and Curious Mind. And we basically play a proxy 1 gate opener into a 17 nexus. Second pylon on the low ground. I think that is going to be the plan. I'm not quite sure if it will work out. It's a little bit tight, actually. Maybe we should build the first pylon at home. We'll have to see how this works. This might actually cut into my eco too much. Not entirely sure. Do I want to block my opponent's natural here? I don't think I want it, because I don't think it's too useful. Yeah, so I don't want to do that. So we'll just... For now, we're going to stick with this opener. This is obviously against an AI, so I just want to kind of figure out what the optimal way is to play this. I get 2 more probes and maybe an 18 nexus. Could be good. 18 nexus, chrono boost 2 zealots, then go into adepts from there. And this doesn't feel super useful. So we're gonna shave on this a little bit more. I think we might open up with a pylon first later on. We'll get a zealot, a pylon, and we start mining this gas. Problem really is that is our cybercore really going to get delayed? Not even sure if that's true. Yeah, it obviously gets delayed because we get 2 zealots, but this zealot gets built. We save up 2 zealots maybe. Like the timing that we kind of want to hit is after... Well, actually, what timing do we want to hit? The Overlord would scout at this point already, so he's going to add more and more units. So at this point, we probably want to be hitting something already. Do we go with batteries as well? I mean, technically we could, right? So we get like a pylon over here. And then from here on out, we add maybe more stalkers. I think this is the general setup. Okay, yeah, I really do like this setup. So the general setup is going to be a lot of eco because we get a pretty fast nexus. A single gas with a lot of pressure from a single proxy gate, basically. That's going to be the goal here. And we want to contain our opponent on 1 base, at least for a little bit. Now, there's a couple of extra timings that we have to think about. And that is the timing where speed finishes, because that's going to be a very important one. And this is more like a concept sketch. Like, we're not really playing it tight. We're just thinking when we should be getting what. I'm not sure if I want my first pylon at home or I want my first pylon across the map. I'm considering just getting it across the or at home first. That might be useful. But then our follow-up with a warp gate could be something like this, you know? Like, we just get a gateway over here. Then a robotics facility at home. And then we have a bit of a setup here. 2 zealots, 2 stalkers. He'd most likely get a spine. So we're kind of theory crafting. I think this is going to be the setup. So, okay, now that we kind of know what we want, let's try to shave the build a little bit. If we build our first pylon at home, one of the things that is nice here, I think we might get slightly more money, and we can do it on larger maps in that case as well, which is actually a pretty big deal out this pro. This pylon should be on the low ground, but it doesn't matter too much. And then, what about the optimal time is to send this second probe out? I guess you just want to get the pylon ASAP anyway, so you just get it over here. Okay, this feels better. I also am using a mod so I can see how much I'm really mining. And I can kind of benchmark against the other things I do to see what gives me more money and what gives me more units, that type of stuff. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to make the tightest build order in the world in just 1 try, but I think we can get pretty darn close, actually. I'd be surprised if we stay too far away. I really want to work with this idea of I think a 17 nexus might even be best here. So we cut 1 more worker. Because we don't actually need that much gas. We just need to have enough gas for a stalker and a warp gate once our cybercore finishes. And our cybercore is obviously going to be built over here. We need to start our first zealot the moment this finishes up. And we can save this chrono boost as well. There's no use to use it on the first one. Because we're only going to use 1 chrono boost total. And then using it on the first one is actually bad, because then you need to spend money quicker into this zealot. This build already feels quite a bit better, by the way. It feels a lot tighter. So it's kind of like the proxy gate you sometimes see against Terran, but then against Zerg. right now he should be scouting my base already. Maybe we should build this pylon earlier. I mean, we have money already. We can just build it way earlier. So at 224, our cybercore finishes here, which means with an 18-second lasting pylon that at 206, we need to get a pylon on the other side of the map. And then with these 2 zealots, we try to keep this pylon alive. And we build our batteries once again. I almost feel like I can fit in another assimilator, which would be super useful. Maybe I can even get a Stargate at home in this case. I kind of want to see what my overall money mined was 3 minutes in. Okay, 2670, 172 gas. And this was with second pylon proxied. So I want to first make sure that the second pylon proxied is better eco-wise. I think it is. And also the cybercore timing. So here the core finished at 224. So because these are the main factors in the build order. So first I want to test if I can get that any faster in a different way. And if I can't, then, well, that's life, I guess. I also shouldn't forget that I forgot to mine with 2 workers. So I probably shouldn't be using this data. But yeah, it is what it is. Well, we can make a decent estimation. Let's see, how much longer do I have? I have about 50 minutes left to tighten up the build, so I'll get some good info in a bit. I'm just gonna do this entire thing again. The exact same way as before. I want to get the proper data, rather than trusting on the crappy one. Okay, so here comes the fast pylon this time around. 204. Didn't I say 206 last time? Doesn't matter. 204. So... and then we push in 218, 220 or so, the first links pop. And then the next link should be popping, well, a little bit after that maybe. It's important we don't lose the zealots. Do we just continue battery production? Or do I get a second gas? No, I want warp gate, I think. Warp gate. No, I can't afford warp gate. Another stalker. I'm afraid that he might have crossed straight across the map, like runs across the map with something. Okay, doesn't matter. We're at 3 minutes. Let's see what our data actually says. I have less money this time, even though I did it properly. How does that make any sense? What? Maybe because I cut workers a little bit harder? Okay, well, 2595, 176. So far, what do we have? We want the pylon at about 204. Which is going to be the goal. We want to get 2 batteries, maybe just 1 battery. Nah, 3 batteries. The follow-up needs to delay warp gate in order to afford everything here for myself. I could also go for adepts rather than stalkers. But that's a lot worse against spines. But might be better against links. And it would allow me to have more gas. A lot more gas. But it does have less range. So just moving away from the batteries would be harder. But maybe that isn't even my goal. Okay, let's try this with adepts.
On our expedition, we stumble upon a very rare sight. A Protoss player actually using his brain. Look at the pain it causes him, but sometimes it is needed.
If I go adepts, maybe I could go core before gas. And then mine 25 gas. That is doable in the time. Because the simulator is so much faster than a cybercore. That means my cybercore can be built faster and that my batteries can start earlier as well. But I will be oversaturated in my minerals in my main base then. Kind of stuck in my head on whether I want to get a Stargate or a rower, what my follow-up is supposed to be. Because this is all very speculative on exactly how it's going to go. Ideally I can deny a 3rd base, but... I think in reality, I really can't deny a 3rd base, which is what scares me in a way. I can't deny the 3rd base because I do have access to this area, but no access to the outside bases. He can't mine from there, but the moment I lose my forward position... Oh crap, I lose the... Well, not the game, but I lose the ability to attack the 3rd base, so he can just drone it up. I'm starting to doubt whether this build is so great or not. How about we start the gas a bit earlier and we cut 1 worker? This one can go away, because we need a zealot first anyway. So slightly faster gas, which allows us to obviously mine more gas. And then our cybercore goes down at this time 146. which would mean that it's 204 is the perfect timing. Yep, for the pylon always. That's the one thing that I know for sure. Probably not using our probe too much, but yes, maybe it's good to use the probe as well. It's maybe not bad. Pump it on, we start hitting the hatchery. Second zealot shows up. This bad boy goes home, or at least goes over here, immediately builds this. We start chrono boosting adepts. But because adepts are 25 cheaper, I can maybe afford a fast gas, because I save 50 in this build. And if I can afford a faster gas while still affording 2 batteries, which is kind of what I want, I can also put some extra pressure on perhaps. Look at this. Because now what I can do, I can shade into the main base while moving forward, and I kind of have a safe spot to go back to. And then we have a 3-minute Stargate. Well, I shouldn't be losing that, especially not against the AI, but I did. That's what I did. And I can continue adept production as well. This feels kind of good. Then we have our safe spot. Should we get more than 2 batteries? I don't think we necessarily need to. I really don't think we necessarily need to. And now we probably need to start getting adepts for the home base. We also need to think of the Sim City here. Maybe so we can move in between all of this a little bit with our zealots. Either to defend it or to just lower service area. Look at that. This actually kind of works out. Our Nexus compared to a regular game is delayed by about 30 seconds. Our Stargate is delayed by about 30 to 40 seconds. The question now that we have, is this pressure worth 30 seconds of the Zerg's time? Can we delay our opponent by 30 seconds? Which should be about, what, 8 drones maybe? No, slightly more, maybe 9 drones. Can we delay our opponent by 9 drones? That is the real question. 2645 and 194. This is by far the best run we had so far. This was with an 18 Nexus. Let me try 17 Nexus. We're just gonna sweat the details a little bit now. Fast gateway, and also the gateway is slightly further away. Technically I could still go home though. I always should probably be going home, shouldn't I? Problem is I'm still gonna need a second pylon. So do I get the second pylon before the gas? I think so. Yeah, probably best. Second pylon before the zealot as well. Yeah, this is the perfect setup, I think. Can I make it across the map in 18 seconds? Don't think I can. Not chrono boosting at all here, by the way, which means I'm gonna have more chrono boost left over later on. Don't have enough money for another zealot already. Oh, I don't have the thing on. That's great. Part of the deal as well, making lots of mistakes. Let's try again. Let's see what actually happens if we just build it the moment we can, which is gonna be now. I don't think he can scout this with the Overlord. Overlord goes like this. Barely miss it. We could also build it here. I think this might actually be a pretty tight opener, honestly. We can build it over here, so that maybe like shaves another second off. Do I want to chrono this? I really don't think I do. I need to chrono it earlier, at least if I do. 2:24, yeah, probably not worth it. Unless I go for 18, I'm not quite sure if I should chrono. Can go back home. That's the one thing I did realize. I don't think this is actually worth it. It's a lot harder to do. And it doesn't actually seem to give me any benefit, except slightly more chrono boost maybe. But the gateway also is further away, and the gateway being close might actually be a big thing. This is what? Let's see. 12, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's a 4-second difference. So my Cybercore needs to be 4 seconds faster, and then it's still even. Don't think that's actually worth it. 2680 and 168. So more money, but less gas now. I don't understand how it makes any sense. So if this pylon gets built over here as the first pylon, this is a 6-second walk from here to here. From here it was 4, so it's probably 5-second walk. It's going to be a 5-second walk. It means I'm supply locked for 5 extra seconds. That's probably pretty impactful in the early game. It's going to be like 20 minerals or so, 25. It might not be bad for me if I cut some extra workers to get everything a bit faster, like maybe a faster Cybercore. So that's the... What are we in? 30 minutes in exactly. So we're, well, almost exactly. We're 30 minutes in. So far, I've decided that I want to proxy my first pylon. I think I don't go for Stalkers, but for Adepts. My follow-up will be Stargate and a standard follow-up. What is my goal with the build? So far we've been making the build. And sometimes you start with a build order and you have a goal in mind. And then as you notice that things can go better a different way, you kind of change it up. I feel like I wanted to initially maybe go for a kill move. In the back of my mind for a long time, I just had like, I add warp gates and more batteries in the front and maybe I keep pushing. But I kind of went away from that idea now. And I'm not sure if it's better or worse. That position most likely is going to get broken. I feel like I might just go back to where I was initially, to the stalkers. It seems like I can't really easily do a follow-up with a quick warp gate though, which annoys me. And I'm also not sure what I do if he sends links across the map. So I have these issues. Like my idea was to kind of, the way that I usually make build orders is you think of what can work or how you do certain things in other matchups. And then you just kind of steal all of that and you put it together into something new, right? Because everything kind of is derivative of something else. So we have a little bit of the parting 17 nexus in here, like that type of idea. And a little bit of that proxy gate that people sometimes do in PvT as well. Like some type of proxy gate variation. You try to think of something, and in PvT, or in my mind, I was thinking of a more aggressive opener, really going kind of hard in the early game, like really quite hard in the early game. But I'm not sure anymore if that is the way I want to continue. Okay, so we cancel one extra worker. That way I do get a faster cybercore, by quite a bit faster, look at that. Now my pylon is going to be too late, but we're gonna have to kind of eat that in a way. What if this is what I want in life? What if this is what I want? Should still chrono boost this a bit later. And then we get the stalkers. Way too late with these batteries, by the way. Way too late. So rather than going for a follow-up, what if I just go into kind of like almost a cannon rush-like setup, but with a natural? You kind of keep adding more and more batteries here. Continue stalker production from one gate, because you have so many chronos, that actually is fine. And you actually cut a bunch of workers to get as many batteries as you can. Because the worker count on your natural isn't actually that important, because we're trying to kill our opponent. Then we get a gateway over here as well. Not getting warp gate yet, because the problem is I need to at some point wall at home. Should I wall with a forge? Because any gateway I build at home is useless. So I do a forge here. And then if I see him run by with something, I can always just throw down an extra gateway or another cybercore, because I'm not going to be using those anyway. Maybe this is the play. And then from here on out, like he needs to... This gateway is so vulnerable as well. There's really a lot of issues with this build. Yeah, I think eventually I just need to get warp gate. So this is... I think this might actually have more potential, because it's almost like a cannon rush in how you build things, but it's not. And there's also a nexus behind it. So if you just... What happens if you contain your opponent on 2 base, I wonder? Because here, the 3rd base for my opponent is almost impossible to grab, right? That's just going to be a fact. So this is the one option I have. And I think the build order I did here is perfect for that. The pylon first over here, the small probe cuts, the very fast cybercore. All of that is genuinely good. But if I go for a more macro-oriented, so if we just go back in time, kind of. So it's still better than not proxying the first pylon, and my core was way faster. So usually it finished 304, now it finished at 250. No, wait, it finished at 204 before, now it finished at 216. Wait, what did it finish at before? No, wait, I had to start my pylon at that time. So it's 6 seconds faster, 258. No, 158. It's a lot of numbers, my math isn't great. At 158, this core is halfway done, and I can start the pylon. So that's 6 seconds faster. Is that enough to bridge this gap? Yeah, this gap, if I build it here, is only 4 seconds. So that's 2 seconds faster stalkers over here, and faster batteries over here as well, if I can make that work. So that is optimal for this road. I think I'm gonna stick with this one, the aggression. Somehow need to get a forge in there kind of naturally though. I'm also considering, rather than proxying a second gateway, proxying a forge, or even a robo is of course also a possibility, or a Stargate. I could get for adepts from one of my gateways and then get a very fast Stargate. I don't think I have enough time for that. Because his queen count is going to be at like 4 by the time I get my first Stargate unit out. Now that's going to suck. Robo might be useful. But I think second gate, it just comes in action the quickest. And I'm lacking gas already, so Robo might just be unrealistic. Yeah, okay. I actually think I only need 1 or 2 more tries in order to get this build exactly how I want to. And I want to see if I believe that it will be better on Curious Mind or in Berlingrad. Because don't forget that whenever you make a new build, you don't necessarily need it to be good on every single map. You can also let it be good on just one map. Maybe Curious Mind actually feels fine. Oh, but it's not possible in Curious Minds because there is a ramp. So it's completely useless to try it on this map. Ah, of course. That is a practical issue that I hadn't quite foreseen. I just hadn't considered that whatsoever. I guess in a way I could just camp down the ramp, but then I do need to play a money-focused version myself at home. Where I kind of deny a third base, in a way, but nah, that just doesn't sound right. By the time speed finishes at 330, if he goes for speed, I can have like 4 or 5 batteries. And at least 2 stalkers. Now I can get like 3 stalkers probably. I can cut a lot of workers to make this push better. 1 cannon on the way. Because I'm mining so little gas, it might be best to open up with a cannon. And then all my chrono just goes straight into my gateway. And then now I get a second gate, so I can actually... Once my gas starts banking, which, well, isn't quite happening yet even now. Do I build my forge at home? I think I build my forge at home though. Part of the wall. Because we're being so aggressive, we don't actually need too many workers at home. We just need to make sure that we can afford majority of the things. We have a very sick setup really fast. I think this is optimal, almost optimal. Let me have a look at a replay. I think I'm supposed to go 17 nexus, not 18 nexus. And now assimilator, so this at 20 assimilator, I think. But I do it at 21 instead. Look, it's really late. Yeah, okay, I cut this worker out so I can get core and assimilator. My assimilator should already have started. 100%. Okay, I understand. I completely understand what I did wrong. Let's do the build properly once, completely, and then I think I'm done. I think I have the optimal play here. So it's going to be an 18 nexus, I think. Because otherwise the chrono boost is kind of wasted. I think 18 nexus is optimal as long as I just cut my workers later on again. It's no real big deal, honestly. I'm gonna be too late on the other side of the map, honestly. Way too late. My setup can really be delayed by a decent amount as well. I do believe that. And we're gonna continue our production of workers for a little bit more, but not too much longer. A forge in the wall, and always make sure that I'm producing units from here, no matter what happens. That is, I think, the main goal as well. If he tries to run by with anything, we can full wall this and we can build a cannon behind it, or even try to recall one of the stalkers. If he kills this gateway, we're in major trouble. But I'm kind of expecting my opponents to not get speed and instead go into a Roach Warren. In my mind, that actually feels like the most logical response. If they go speed, however, what could I do? I could get a robo here. So if they go speed and get around, I first wall this, get a cannon, and then get a robo over here and just continue with immortals. Because then I won't have production from this gateway. It's gonna add more and more cannons and more batteries. I think I'm ready. Let's just have a last look, a last sweep through it. See if there's anything too obvious that I'm missing. Obviously this probe needs to go across the map a little faster, I think. So now it was kind of slow. We can build that first pylon a bit earlier, that would be great. So like my first battery finished at like 240 or so, rather than 250. So you can have a lot of stuff at 250. But I also have 2 zealots and a stalker. He won't have creep here yet. Will he use the first creep tumor to inject? Or will he save it for like transfuse or just use the creep tumor? I don't know. It's hard to say. So 17 nexus from now on. I'll cancel the 1 work, because I'm not really producing too many workers after anyway, it doesn't really matter. Not gonna get too much money there, I think. Then this feels more natural. 20 cybercore. I think I can do 21 cybercore just fine, actually. Maybe it gives me a little bit more money as well. A little bit more gas. Chrono boost I should do at... Yeah, once it's 10 or so. Okay, I think I'm ready. So it took me 50-ish minutes to create a new build from, well, stolen parts from other builds and created a new one. I don't think this has ever been played before in PvZ. I once in Wings of Liberty, I used to sometimes play a proxy gateway, get 3 zealots on my opponent's ramp, and I kind of stole the idea from there, but it was really different. I mean, Wings of Liberty was just really different, the way the mining worked and stuff. But here, I think I might be capable of taking 1 or 2 games with this. And if that's true, then if I succeed, I'll be very happy. So, what is it? 51 minutes? Let's go find an opponent. It's time. We got Elazer. Everything needs to go right. Everything needs to go right at once, because I think you only get 1 shot with this build. This is really the most useless build order I made in my life, because I'm gonna reveal it in a practice game, but... Okay, let's go. This bad boy goes over here. Exactly like in practice, okay? Exactly like in practice so far. The moment our pylon finishes, we're gonna build a gateway. We're gonna chrono boost our probes immediately as well. Nexus on our natural. I think I said 17. Yeah, we're gonna go at 17. Makes sense, because then we're maximally saturated as well. Maybe we can even get a faster assimilator at that point. We still have maximum saturation, really. Like the 16 workers at all times on saturation, which was important. Cybercore. Oh, he's doing the 20 hatchery. He's doing the 20 hatchery. That's absolutely perfect for me. But he is over here, so what do I want to do in that case? We need to throw it down. We need to throw it down, whether we want to or not. Okay, he's on my side of the map now anyway, so he knows that something funky is going on. He just isn't quite aware yet of what. I think I chronoed slightly too fast. Might be fine. I have no clue. I have no clue. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Okay. Do we cut workers? So in between here. Just gonna pretend to be attacking, like we're not actually attacking. Just wanna deny a little bit of mining if we can, you know what I mean? But we don't actually want to... Oh, Queen is out already. Queen is out already. 1 more of these, so we get our 3rd. And then we immediately get this bad boy over here. We start... We haven't seen any... What if the links come from his 3rd base, though? That would be a real degenerate situation here. Just shooting at these things. One of them bad boys. Do you want a cannon at home at this point? I feel like this game is going way better than I initially intended it to go. Okay, that's what I was afraid of. Gets the run by in. Oh, he's not sending them properly. Just gonna full wall. Crappers. Oh, Kevin. Are we doing it? Okay, we need to repair this thing. We need to repair this thing. Zealots come back as well. We have a lot of things here. Okay, this is all good. I think we just die. Ah, the build sucks! We spent all this time. An hour of our time, and it sucks. The first attempt, he kills it. I actually believed that we would have had a chance if this 3rd base wasn't so fast. I thought it was good because he would waste money there. But it did allow him to easily get links by without me realizing. And then I didn't wall in time. That cost me some cash. And also attention. I'm not positioned properly. You got a lot of surface area, only a single cannon. Because I just had to build so much at home. Imagine if I have a 2nd cannon over here, rather than... I think another cannon would have also helped. Now, if you can kill it in 1 time, without thinking of a proper reaction, there's only one verdict. And that is that not only did I just waste an hour and 10 minutes of my own time, I also wasted your time. And for that, I'm very sorry. If you didn't enjoy it, however, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hopefully we'll see y'all next time with some build orders that are actually good. Failed experiment, but a good time nonetheless. Thanks so much for watching. Bye bye.